How's it going, guys? It's Chucky here. Before the video starts, I just want to say a big thank you for everyone that helped me reach 500 subscribers. I know it's not much, but it really does mean a lot to me, as the support has been absolutely crazy ever since I started the channel. I will still say though that 70% of you guys aren't subscribed, so if you want to go ahead and do that, it helps me out a whole bunch, but it also lets you guys know every time I upload a video. But apart from that, make sure to like and enjoy the video. As you might know, Minecraft is one of the biggest markets for buying and selling rare accounts and cosmetics, from rare IGNs to capes that could only be claimed by going to specific conventions around the world. Some of these accounts have been sold for thousands of dollars in the past, and even now, trades and transactions are happening every day. But as is the case with most marketplaces, on occasion there are certain people that try to make money dishonestly. Of course, I'm talking about scammers. In this video, I'll be talking about all the different types of scam in the community, how they're done, and even some of the biggest scams that have ever happened over the last few years. So, without further ado, make sure to subscribe and enjoy the video. Over the years, people have found exploits on Mojang's support system to pull accounts back from the buyer after selling. This is done by using an account that still has the original email and transaction ID available. The scammer sells the account to someone and receives the money for it. These payments are usually done in Bitcoin, just like most of the large transactions in the community, as you can't charge back the money using Bitcoin, and it's much more anonymous than other services such as PayPal. And if you don't know what chargebacking is, don't worry, I'll cover that later. Soon after the scammer gets the money, they email Mojang support supplying the transaction ID and original email to convince Mojang they are the original owner of the account. They also detail a fake story explaining how they either had the account stolen or how they accidentally changed the email to the wrong one. Eventually, Mojang will see the message and change the account's email back to the original one, removing the buyer's access to the account entirely. This process sounds insanely complicated, but after someone's done it a few times, it's effortless to them. Some people have made thousands of dollars just off of this method, and what's odd is that Mojang hasn't really ever caught onto this. People have just been doing it over and over for years. There's a huge list of just a few of these accounts, ranging from super high tier OG names to regular Minecraft accounts or even semi-OG names. Now, I mentioned earlier that Minecraft codes and accounts are some of the most sold around things in the community, so predictably, people found out ways to scam with them all too easily. Of course, certain accounts with capes already applied were sold and then pulled back, but people also find ways to scam with the codes that are used to put these capes onto new accounts. Some of the more known about ones involve Twitter accounts that pretend to be selling or giving away codes for very cheap. A while ago, I was actually contacted by one of these accounts myself, so I'll be using them as an example for now. Essentially, they use the same methods many other accounts like this used. The account was quite obviously bought, or was at least used for something different previously. You can tell this from the fact that the account was made around mid-2016, but has no tweets from before February 2018. It's also incredibly easy to tell that all of the followers are bots, evidently sold by a third-party website used to bot anyone that pays the right price. Regardless, the method they usually use is as simple as sending a screenshot or video of the confirmation email or something similar to try and prove to the buyer that they are in ownership of the account or code. The proof is nearly always fake, but often the buyer can't tell and just goes ahead with the sale anyway. The scammer then tells the buyer to send the money over first, and often takes a stance saying something similar to, "We're a business that deals with this regularly, why should we send you it first?" When the money is sent, that's really all there is to it. They block the buyer on Twitter or Discord and take the money for themselves. Now, both of the other methods were done from the seller's perspective, and could only be done around Minecraft accounts, but chargebacking can be done in any situation that involves sending PayPal money to some extent. It's essentially done by contacting your credit card company and simply asking for the money to be returned by saying that you didn't receive the item that you asked or something along those lines. This happens all the time on the internet, from things like eBay sales to stream donations. But a few years ago, there was a huge case of this that affected dozens of people from every corner of the Minecraft community. Over 4 years ago now, one of the largest scandals Minecraft has ever seen took place. Back between around 2015 and 2016, a user by the name of Gravity was really well known for many reasons. For starters, he was one of the biggest collectors of OG names out there. If there was a super high tier account for sale, he'd go for it. He owned accounts such as G, Bot, and OK. He was super active in the community generally, and always seemed to be a really nice guy to be around, his MC Market signature showing this off very well. Very little is known about him as a person, only what has been told to his friends in the community. What is known is that he was a big investor with a whole lot of money. He had images of his name written out in tons of $100 bills for no real reason. But eventually, he decided to start sharing his wealth around. This was around the time that UHC streamers were really starting to blow up, so he decided to donate to some of these streamers. Eventually, it got to the point where you could go into any decently sized YouTuber's stream, and he would be the top donator. He gave out thousands of dollars to various streamers such as Xnestorio and The Best Ginger. Ginger is probably the best example of all of this, as he was donated thousands of dollars over the course of a few months. But one day, everything changed, for everybody. Out of nowhere, every payment Gravity had sent was charged back. Tens of thousands of dollars were ripped from dozens of people's accounts out of nowhere, from transactions made buying accounts to thousands of dollars he donated to developing Minecraft servers. Ginger himself has a really good video detailing what everybody thought happened at the time. It's now unlisted due to things that I'll talk about later, but for now I'll just play a few clips in the video just to show you what everybody thought happened.
So, Gravity, being a smart man, unlinked his credit card immediately. With that credit card getting unlinked, the person who hacked his account was not able to send himself any money at all. So, the hacker, probably being pissed off, charged back every single large donation in his PayPal. Gravity's PayPal account then got shut down because of all the chargebacks. He couldn't really dispute anything. And then immediately after that, his bank account gets shut down. So Gravity's basically fucked. After that, first of all, I message him and I say, "Hey Gravity, how are you? What's going on, man? What is happening?" Because everyone is flipping out. Everyone is fucking pissed in the community. Because who wouldn't be? If you got charged back $1,000, would you be calm? Would you be able to like control your anxiety? Because I was not able to. I did not go off on Gravity at all. I kept it completely civilized, as you guys can check on my Twitter. I did not say anything bad about the guy. The only thing I said bad was about the chargeback itself. So Gravity responds to me and tells me that he's going to get all of us prepaid cards that we can then redeem on our PayPal and restore our balances. So I asked him if he could send me the receipts. And on the receipts, it said cash tended. So he paid $1,300 in cash to buy these prepaid cards to pay me back. What I'm going to take from it is that this guy is truly sorry and he truly feels responsible for his actions because of his account security, even though he himself did not do it.
Now, after this point, things become a bit fuzzy. Gravity was one of the biggest collectors of accounts, so that last line sounds a bit odd. You'd have thought he'd be incredibly good at keeping his accounts secure, especially his PayPal, but people didn't think about this too much. Now, I mentioned this video is now unlisted, and that's because of what happened the day after. Gravity charged back everyone again, but this time for good. And right after he got the money, he just disappeared from the internet completely. Nobody in the community has heard from him since, and no one has any clue why he did it or where he went. People have tried contacting him since, but nobody ever got a response. He just took back tens of thousands of dollars and ran with no clear motive, and no way for anyone to even figure out why. I mentioned earlier that people used to scam with Minecon cape codes, but cape scams still go a layer deeper. Cobalt capes are one of the most valuable in the game and can't be obtained at all anymore, as they were given away years ago to only certain people, but that never stopped people pretending to have codes for them. There are two accounts that are known to have done this mainly, both of which already had Cobalt capes on that were sold to them years prior by a top tier Cobalt player. One of these accounts, that I can't name for fear of Mojang finding out about it, would go on Hypixel and claim to have spare Cobalt capes. He'd get $50 or so off people, and similar to the Twitter accounts, would get the money, then send a fake or already used code. He'd do this repeatedly, and seeing as they were just random people he found, they couldn't really do anything about it. Then there was Nobleman, a now locked 6 cape account that would do the same thing just a little differently. At the time, he also had a Realms mapmaker cape, given directly by Mojang, so people assumed that he was trustworthy. He would mass message people in Skype chats saying he was selling Cobalt cape codes for around $400 to $500, and a bunch of people fell for this, again due to the account being directly affiliated with Mojang. But in the end, it turned out that the scammer wasn't even the original owner of the account, and the cape was soon removed once Mojang heard about this, but sadly not before he scammed out around $4,000 to $5,000 from various people. There's still a whole lot more scams that I haven't talked about, so I'm thinking about making them into another video, so make sure to comment down below if you want that. I'm also thinking about making another video about how to avoid these scams and how to make sure your account security is as good as it can be. But apart from that, if you did enjoy the video, then please make sure to like and subscribe. I put a lot of effort into this one, and it took a lot longer than I thought it would, so I ended up having to miss an upload on Sunday, so I'm sorry about that. But again, if you did enjoy it, please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.